Hey, this is Dave Loves Comics, and I'm going to throw my little 3 cents about the Black Adam vibe out there. This is not necessarily a review, but this is a little bit of a critique, but this is something that can be improved on for Black Adam 2. My number one thing, the film was okay. But one of the things, I see a disconnect between fans loving it and really hard on the critics for not liking it as much. And critics kind of go like, it was just a vanity project that, he really did. I hope that for the Black Adam 2, that The Rock dig deep, and pull something out that we really didn't expect and go full Darth Vader for the next one. Black Adam is a villain. Black Adam, even if you didn't know the comic book characters, if you look at the story, locked away for 5,000 years in oppressive society, come up 5,000 years later, it's just as, oppressed as when he became out. So Black Adam has, some issues and some legitimate concerns. It's just he does it in the, he does it in the wrong way. Most critics with the archetype of any type of villains, and this is something I was, sharing with somebody today. Villains are supposed to challenge the hero and the audience. And you have to agree, because every villain thinks they're the hero, but you have to agree with some of the points. They just doing about it wrong. If you think of the last couple of years, some of the best villains that has been really on television and movies, I just go down the line. Killmonger. Wakanda, where was you at during slavery? You just sat by the sidelines. And at the end of the movie, T'Challa opens up Wakanda to the world. The Vulture in the Spider-Man Homecoming, Tony Stark, he's he's gonna, he's not looking out for the little people, and he's not worried about you, Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man spent the whole movie trying to be an Avenger, 2 films, Civil War, and when the opportunity came, and Tony Stark asked him, "Do you want to be an Avenger?" He turned it down. I mean, that's quite profound, because even though he did it about the wrong way, it changes, and it makes the audience question themselves. No one's kind of saying, well, Killmonger was just crazy, he just, people have to say, wait a minute, put me in the oceans, Joaquin Phoenix, Joker role, went full Joker role in that mode, and how society passed over some of the, this franchise people, and people thought it'd be riding the streets, that people would agree with him so much. People wearing, the makeup and the mask around, in the real world, in the cities. But the Joker touched a lot of people. But then again, Joaquin Phoenix didn't have play. I mean, he was a villain. I mean, he killed, a lot of great social workers, no matter what. But my point, Darth Vader, that's another one. You even knowing the backstory of Anakin wanting to be over the dictatorship and working with, higher cause of it, and fell by the wayside and the love of his wife. I know you had some good points, but you Darth Vader. I mean, he killed the whole planet, right, in the first movie. But that is going back to with the Black Adam character. The critics is thinking, okay, it was brought up as some of these other films. Colonization, imperialism, you're taking over, and will we get a hero over in this Middle Eastern country? Then all of a sudden you have the Justice Society who appointed them to come over and stop Black Adam. That was brought up in the movie, but was not even, it wasn't even from the character. He was just like, oh, move. And so I think that's the disconnect, because people don't want to see The Rock, that full extreme, because he's lovable. He's a fun guy. But even in the storyline, they kind of go like, oh, okay. From the critics' viewpoint, or people who's familiar with the character, comic book readers, we know the story. And believe it or not, the origin was updated and was even made even worse. But that's a whole new different story. But I'm not comparing the comic book to it, but people know the story of it. But I think without the central audience representation, who is the hero in this film? I mean, Dr. Fate is a Hawkman. You have to have some type of rebuttal balance of it. And that's one thing that I think about the Joker that's kind of like, wow, one film I really was thinking about as well was the Riddler. And the Riddler, for the first time in the Batman film, was the first time he was a mirror to Batman. And like I said, I'm not comparing films, but the Riddler, crazy, social media and blowing stuff up, really did seem having, I mean, he had some doctrine of some sense. I don't know what the Riddler's plan was. I know it, but it hurt my head. But he thought him and Batman was working together. But the reflection of Batman, when the Riddler goons is saying, "Who are you?" "I am vengeance," that changed Batman and said, "Oh man, I got to shine a little light." So I think that's the one of, this short video, the disconnect. So I'm hoping Black Adam is done and we're, moving on. I'm more likely to get, part 2. And if they want to throw other DC characters in it, James Gunn just announced going to be, head of the DC, projects. I know it's going to be that's a whole different conversation of it. They want to put the Superman and Batman the Superman and Batman pieces together. And, that's going to be a big effect in the effect in the next one. So either for Black Adam, now is the time, Rock, to get the script together and do a dark turn. Play he could have been like, "Oh man, this is a beautiful country and we got Wi-Fi and things have changed. We got refrigerators," and just winking the camera. But as soon as I get my throne, I'm taking over. I mean, it's just, it should be human nature, like it's over. Play that role. Don't need little sidekicks and, maybe have a little romance, whatever, but don't need a little sidekick, because even the Joker got Harley Quinn. But just be in it. Because if The Rock is planning on going against the Suicide Squad and the Justice League and maybe throwing in the Justice Society, I mean, there are comic books where he has taken on everybody, and it ain't pretty. And you have to do a turn, because this is Black Adam. I mean, what's your mojo and your cause and your effect? It'd be like, well, okay, I guess we got to do it because this is a movie, but hit that role. But I leave on, like actors, he's an actor and, act a role. And because you play the villain, do not mean you're not going to be disliked by the audience. People love the villains of it because they can separate the performance from who you are playing. I mean, I just have visions, even Hannibal Lecter, people love that role. Going back to the Heath Ledger, Michael B. Jordan. I mean, they are praised for the performance of being sympathetic, but yet doing monstrous things, but not being a monster, not so lost in it that people kind of go, like the Joker say, all it takes is one bad day. But anyway, that's my little thought of it. Black Adam, man, like I say, I'm going to throw a little energy, just get that script a little tighter and ride it out. But that's just kind of why the little disconnect people were having between, I thought it was good, boy. It could have been like that. So, people have expectations, which, hey, before you say anything, you have some expectations. You be entertained with a tight-knit, enjoyable story that's entertaining. But anyway, peace out, everybody. Peace.